So we have our key features of the Think Stack are obviously that we support all LoRaWAN versions in all regions, all device modes. We have support for class A, B, and C, and multicast. Everything is fully API driven. In fact, the console, the really nice web interface that we have, is using our API, and you can use that API directly from your own applications. We also have a command line interface also for everything, so you can use the Think Stack in your scripting, which is really nice. The core of the Think Stack is open source. You can find that on GitHub. It's one of the largest open source projects that originates from the Netherlands. And there is native packet broker support in every the Think Stack deployment, also in our open source edition. What's also really nice is the device repository. I think that's one of the things that we are most proud of this year, and I'm also going to show a little bit about that in a few minutes. And then on the integration side, we have native integrations with AWS IoT. We are working on a really nice native integration with Azure IoT, and like I said, you also have some lower level integrations to work with streaming data through MQTT, Webhooks, and we also have data storage. And finally, an integration with LoRa Cloud for geolocation, joint server, and LoRa Edge device and application services. So regardless of our features, everything is included in our different deployment models. So the Think Stack is really a product, but we really designed it to be super versatile in how and where and when it can be deployed. So our main offering is the Think Stack Cloud. That's our flagship offering with an SLA. All the features are in there. It's multi-tenant. It's multi-region, so you can access the Think Stack with low latencies from everywhere around the world. But if you need to run the Think Stack in your AWS account, you can use the AWS Launcher. If you need to have the Think Stack running on your physical infrastructure, this could also be in AWS or in Azure, but it could also be on premises or on bare metal. You can use an enterprise license. And we also have a dedicated cloud offering, which is dedicated infrastructure that's fully managed by us and also comes with an SLA. So these are the four commercial models that we have, besides obviously the Things Network, which is our community edition of the Think Stack, which is free to use, but it comes without SLA and only with community support. So on the platform side, on the integration side, we are working with lots of partners, and we are adding new partners in every release, which is really nice. So you can click here in the console which integration you want to configure for your application. And underneath this is also driven by an open source repository. So if you are building an IoT platform and you want to have your logo here, then you can go to our GitHub, the Things Network account, the webhook templates repository, and you can open a pull request and configure your own integration, and we'll make it part of our next release. We also invested a lot in our documentation, so we are informing you about the new things that we added to our latest versions, but we also have extensive step-by-step guides and details and explanations about how all the things work, and also about how our API works. The Think Stack, our enterprise edition, that's also what we use in the community network, is multi-tenant, and that means that all our customers have their own environment with their own users, their own gateways, and their own applications, which is a globally distributed deployment, and that's also what really makes us unique in the LoRaWAN ecosystem, and that's really also at the heart of the design of the Think Stack. The Think Stack is API first. That means that all the features, by definition, have an API endpoint, and that only then we can implement, for example, the UX in the console, and only then we can add the commands in our command line interface. So that means that you, as a developer, can make use of all the features that we have in the Think Stack through our API. So our device repository, that's really something that we brought to the Things Stack in the last year, and we have been working a lot with the device maker community, and we're also very thankful for all the contributions that they made and the time that they invested to contribute their devices to the device repository. And what it really is, it is a GitHub open source repository where device makers can declare the models of their devices, pictures, but also the sensors that they have and other characteristics about the device. But not only that, also the LoRaWAN end device profile, so all the settings that the network server needs to activate the device. So the LoRaWAN version, physical parameters version, you know, all the knobs and the small details about every device, moreover also the codecs, so the scripts to decode binary payload into meaningful data and the other way around. So that's all in the device repository, and we made it really easy to onboard devices. So if you go in the console and you click on the button to add a new device, by default you can select here the vendor, so you can find the device maker. So these are all the device makers that are in the device repository. So for example, the Tactelic a Kona all-in-one smart room sensor or something, and you see here some information, a picture. You see, okay, this is my device, beautiful. It shows you here which LoRaWAN version it has, just some information, but underneath it already configures the device correctly. So you only have to configure, you know, some identification about the particular end device, and that is really unique and nice feature of the Things Stack. So we have also native support for Basic Station, which is a open source packet forwarder, which is much better than what we have been using in the past. It is secure, it's authenticated, it allows for some remote configuration as well as remote monitoring of how the gateway is doing. And we are working closely with all the leading gateway vendors to have nice and really stable Basic Station support, and we are really happy to partner with all the main gateway vendors to make this happen. So what we have on the roadmap is onboarding via the device repository. So the device repository is not only about end devices, but a gateway is also a device, and we also want to put that in the device repository. The Things Stack is also really event-driven, also at the heart of the design, and we want to make that easier and more accessible for users. So we're going to allow to retrieve historical events, to filter events, to group events in a better and user-friendlier way. We're working on a map, a global map of all the gateways, not only connected to the Things network, but also to private networks, and to put that in one beautiful global map. Of course, only if you want to share your gateway location on that map. But that's also going to be really useful to find other networks, peering partners to exchange traffic with. Like I said, we have the really nice Azure integration on the roadmap. We already have a basic integration with Azure through the webhooks, but we're going to have a really native integration soon. The routing policies of Packet Broker can almost be configured in a console. That's going to be part of our next patch release. I have already a preview of that in my Packet Broker presentation later today. We're adding more insight in how the peering is going, what the balances are between your network and other networks. We're also going to show you that. And also we want to invest even more in making our stack easy for developers to work with. So we're going to work on SDKs for the main languages like Go, Node.js, Python, and also improve the user experience to work with our API. It's already working really well, but we really want to make it seamless and really easy and make sure that you don't spend time on working with our API and implementing everything, but really add value without writing too much code. And finally, we want to show the analysis of the health of your gateway and device fleet through seeing what is the packet loss rate, what are the RF qualities and things like that. So that's what we have on the roadmap.